Lego's advent calendars, to me at least these days, have gone really downhill. They just don't feel overall like that festive anymore, and it really just feels like a way to shoehorn in a couple of little festive things, but more so just to get another sort of product out there and make some more money. I don't know. I used to love Lego advent calendars. In fact, my first one, I believe, was like a Lego City advent calendar from 2010 or 11, and it was the best advent calendar that I have ever seen from Lego. Overall, the whole thing felt very festive. It had a theme that really tied in, I guess, to the whole like family aspect of Christmas and everything, and that's something that I haven't feel like we've gotten in advent calendars in a very long time. Now, of course, that concept isn't going to be able to be done every single year, and it certainly won't carry over into Lego Star Wars, but I feel like a lot of the times Lego advent calendars these days have just completely forgotten the whole like Christmas and festive magic, which at the end of the day is why a lot of people want to buy these things. There are so many different types of advent calendars these days. I mean, Playmobil does advent calendars, Funko do advent calendars, then you have all of the beauty advent calendars and cheese and socks, and there's just advent calendars for everything, which I feel like is one of the reasons why the Lego advent calendars still have that same appeal, and a lot of the time they end up in Costco when it's just cheaper and people will probably pick it up just because it's something fun. But in the last couple of years, I haven't felt like the advent calendars have been overall too in theme with the holidays. Specifically though, with the 2022 Harry Potter advent calendar, this just lacked any sort of festive or Christmassy feeling overall, and I just wasn't a huge fan of it. And same with the 2021 advent calendar. Again, it just didn't really tie into the holidays at all. The first two though, I think were really well done, and they tied in really nicely to the whole holiday thing. After all, you got Harry and Ron who were wearing the Christmas sweaters that Molly Weasley got them. You also got a couple of Christmas trees, and people were decked out in sort of winter gear. Same with the second advent calendar, which was themed around the Yule Ball, which of course takes place at Christmas time, so it made it really easy again for everything to tie into the festive theme. Star Wars as well typically do a lot of sort of like festive versions of characters where you've got people dressed up as Santa, or things are turned into snowmen, and overall I think for the few items that Star Wars does include in their advent calendars that are festive theme, they've done an amazing job. Not that it's my favorite version of Vader, but I really did also appreciate that they did a summertime Christmas figure this year with Vader and his little tank top and making a sandcastle. It was amazing, especially being in Australia and every single Christmas is always really hot and a lot of people do go to the beach on Christmas. It was really sweet to see that. Now, the advent calendars aren't all that bad. In fact, one of my favorite things that they have given us in recent years is the Christmas sweater torsos. I love these things. I want to buy them all. I want to collect them all. I love them so much. If there is one thing to make me buy those advent calendars, it's those Christmas sweaters. And a couple of years ago as well, I started putting all of my little advent calendar builds in these Christmas ornaments that Lego made. However, Lego has now stopped making these ornaments, so I really have no use for a lot of the stuff I get in the advent calendars, which is really unfortunate. So if anyone has any of these and doesn't want them anymore, hi, my PO box is in the description. I'm kidding. Now, going back to the first ever Lego City advent calendar I had, the reason why I loved it so much is that you got the entire family. You got all of the toys that the kids were playing with, so the micro builds made sense. It fit in really nicely when you laid everything out on top of the little mat that you got. You even got Santa and sort of like a naked Santa who was taking a shower, which was funny. It was nice. It was festive. It was heartwarming, and overall everything tied together, and it meant that you could create a scene, which was perfect. And especially at the time, I had one of the creator houses, so I ended up putting a lot of the builds inside of that house to really flesh it out and make it seem like the family lived there and was celebrating Christmas. Which I think is the problem when it comes to Lego. I mean, I look at Lego Star Wars, and while I love their Christmas figures and I think they do an amazing job every single year, every other build is just like a random micro build of something and doesn't really necessarily tie in. My favorite aspects of the Star Wars advent calendars have always been things like that pilot snowman. He was really cool, or the festive gonk droids. Besides the minifigures as well, I guess anything that ties into Hoth was pretty cool, and I mean, the micro builds are fine and whatever, but another issue I have with the Lego advent calendars is that a lot of the time, Lego puts almost every single day on the box or on the inside of the box. Even if you manage to avoid seeing the photos on lego.com, which even a lot of the time Lego will put like the overall photo on like the very front and just makes it really easy to see what you're getting, it just ruins the whole experience of an advent calendar. Now, in some cases, you do want to know what you're getting just so that you don't feel like you're wasting your money. Seeing so much of what you get on the box really just turns me off a lot of the time. This year, I ended up buying 2 Lego advent calendars. I bought Harry Potter because, I mean, I collect every Harry Potter set, and I bought Star Wars purely because it was cheaper for me to do that and price match it to one that I found online rather than buy the like 3 or 4 builds that I wanted out of that advent calendar. Last year, I just bought the Mandalorian and I bought Grogu, and I actually ended up buying like Grogu's little pram thing separately. And again, it was a lot cheaper for me to do that than buy the whole advent calendar and be left with a ton of builds I didn't care about. So this year, instead of opening one of the Lego advent calendars as I go in December, I actually went out and bought one of the Funko Star Wars advent calendars. There was 4 of them in total that I found, and overall they all looked really cool. I loved the Disney one and the Star Wars one the most. Marvel was also pretty cute, and Harry Potter, I mean, that one had the same problem, I think, as like the Lego one for me, where it just didn't feel really festive. But overall, just the box art of the Funko one for Star Wars looked really exciting. Everything on it was themed around Christmas, which I loved. I've also only seen 4 of the pops in that advent calendar, so the whole thing is just a giant surprise to me. I mean, I imagine I'll get mini versions of all of their Christmas ones that they've done before, but honestly, I have no idea. And for the price as well, it actually wasn't too different from Lego's price points. The advent calendars to begin with felt like a lot for what you were getting value-wise, and even just like, I guess, Christmas joy-wise. I wasn't a huge fan, and I always bought mine discounted. So with this new price, it was an instant turn off straight away. I mean, for me in Australia, it was 60 Australian dollars. And I managed to find my Funko one from I'm Rick James Bricks for $80. So to me, the difference between that and the Lego advent calendar really wasn't too much. So I thought for this year, I would try it out. In previous years as well, I've had things like the Body Shop advent calendars. I know my mum has tried a cheese advent calendar. And while those things definitely aren't festive going into it, you don't really expect that going into buying things like those beauty advent calendars or cheese advent calendars. Sock advent calendars, I feel like often you do get some holiday and Christmas themed socks, but with those beauty ones specifically, you're not looking for something festive. Whereas when I buy a Lego advent calendar, it is marketed as a very festive and holiday item, and I just don't seem to get that feeling when I finish it at the end of the day. This year, the Guardians of the Galaxy advent calendar came out, and that is very directly tied into the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, but even then, it didn't feel as festive as I was originally hoping it to be. And when I was a kid, I also had a Playmobil advent calendar, and I distinctly remember a lot of the items in that set. In fact, there was a little music box where I pressed the button on the back, and it played me Christmas carols. It was really cool, and the whole thing, just like that original Lego City one, tied together really, really well, and that's something that I really hope that Lego can do with their advent calendars again in the future. I don't just want to get an advent calendar for the sake of getting an advent calendar. The best parts about them are the festive inclusions. That's why as well a lot of people love the Winter Village sets or the random Christmas sets and things like that, and even why a lot of people will fork out the money to buy the exclusive employee gifts that they get at the end of the year because they are Christmas themed. Like, you cannot tell me that that holiday X-Wing isn't one of the coolest things ever. I honestly would have loved to have seen it as a regular retail set. I don't think they're ever going to get to that level, but if that's the only thing that we're going to get that ties in with the regular Lego themes throughout the year, I really want to see them focus a little bit more on the festivity and holiday side of things. At this point, they just feel more like a regular set that you would get that sort of ties along with the rest of the theme, and they've just lost that Christmas magic that I always remember them having and that I've seen before in many previous advent calendars as well. Even the employee gift this year just does not feel like it's got that same Christmas magic as we've previously gotten, and I really hope that we can return to that and make these advent calendars so much more exciting and festive again. Because until that happens, I'll probably just continue doing what I'm doing and just buying the festive minifigures and calling it a day. I mean, that Harry Potter advent calendar to me was a big waste of money. I mean, even the exclusive minifigures that we got weren't that exciting. I even had someone tell me that it's just a glamorized minifigure pack, and honestly, it feels that way. You get a couple of exclusives and a couple of special printed pieces, and then the rest is just stuff you really don't actually care that much about. But let me know what you think about the Lego advent calendars, and did you pick up any this year? And if so, which ones did you get? And if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below. And if you're interested to see what my whole experience with my Funko advent calendar is, I'll probably post updates and things like that on my Instagram, so be sure to follow me on there as well. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later.